have a lot of wonderful people with us today, and I want to recognize some of them. Of course, our council president, West Bank gal, Jackie Brechtel Clarkson. Jackie, it's great to see you. My partner on the city council represents District 3, Kristen Gisselson Palmer. We have with us Mr. Charles Brown and Mr. Irvin Mayfield, the director of New Orleans Public Libraries and the president of the New Orleans Public Library Foundation. Marianne Marsh. Marianne, where are you? That's the head librarian. Before y'all get too possessive of Marianne, she was once from Broadmoor. Right? It's a Broadmoor girl. So we sent Uptown over to the West Bank. I understand the West Bank is the best bank. I got it. My good friend Joe Thread from FEMA. FEMA's been kicking it lately, right? Absolutely. Stacy Bonifant, the Chief of Staff for the State Office of Community Development, our state partner. Dr. John Mule, the pastor of Woodland Presbyterian Church, is with us. Doctor, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you. We've got our Senator, Senator J.P. Morrell is with us. Our school board member, Lourdes Moran, is with us. Mayoral lookalike and stand-in, Commander Brian Weiss. Where are you? Step out here so they can see you, Brian. Come out here. Come out here. You're not retired of being mad at me? Tell anybody. Oh, and also a Broadmoor boy. I'm just... In any event, I'm thrilled to be here. I have a fantastic affinity for libraries, as you know. When I was a lieutenant governor, we oversaw the state library system. And I developed a profound love for libraries that I had developed when I was a very small child, sitting in the windowsill of the Ladder Library on St. Charles Avenue, reading Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin too. I remember that. But after Katrina, the libraries took on a new significance for all of us. It connected us to the rest of the world, and it became a recovery center for so many people. And people found another use. So you see these beautiful computers out of here and our connection to the outside world for so many people that use them. And we've learned once again how they can become the repository for all of the young boys and girls. And I am so thrilled to have all of the young New Orleanians and the future leaders of New Orleans with us. Give all those young kids a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming. So excited. Today really is about you. And I'm thrilled because libraries really represent so many wonderful things about the progress that we have made together. You know, we make promises, and some people break them and some people keep them. And we like to believe that promises made should be promises kept. And in the city of New Orleans, in our partnership with FEMA, our partnership with the state, our partnership with the Library Foundation, all of these different people and all of you have come together to make this beautiful building a reality. You know, you remember we said that after Katrina, we weren't going to build back the city that we were. We were going to build the city that we always wanted to become. We weren't just going to put the library back like it was. We were going to dream about what a fantastic state-of-the-art 21st century library would look like, because that's the kind of city that we want to build. And you're standing in the middle of a perfect example of what that philosophy has brought to us, because we have all come together, one team, one fight, one voice, one city, and actually gotten things done. This is what winning looks like. This is what success feels like. This is what being the best city in America actually envelops and makes us feel good about. This is a $9.2 million 21st century library in Algiers on the West Bank. We also have integrated, as part of the cultural economy, beautiful artwork. The art that's hanging above us is designed by Michelle Gutlove. It's called Random Thoughts. Libraries used to have state-of-the-art, beautiful art in it. Now they do. That's part of what makes us beautiful. Design is part of the essence of what we are and why Louisiana and New Orleans is such an authentic place. Just to give you another sense of it, this is the 4th library that we have opened since March. Talk about getting business done. Our capital project staff is here. Vince and his team. You guys are working really hard. 5. It's our 5th one. Look, I'm shorting y'all. It's our 5th one since March. I'm sorry. And we got another one coming. Center Hubble is the next one that's going to open in Algiers, and that's coming soon. So the recovery, you see that there actually are cranes in the skies in New Orleans and buildings that are opening. Just as another example, and I ran through this list yesterday at the Algiers Economic Development Luncheon, Federal City is a mixed-use development, 3,000 military personnel there, potentially 10,000 jobs. Berman Park improvements, $3.4 million are completed already. Breckdale Park has had $500,000 of investment. The Cutoff Center, another $500,000. The Arthur Mundy Center, $2.5 million. The Nord engine has been replaced. And the streets, I know they got cones all over the place. That's a good problem to have. That means it's getting fixed. And you've seen it. Berkeley Drive, LaBeouf, Sumner, Slidell, Opelousas extension, over $13 million in road improvements on the West Bank. Holiday Drive, right outside of this building, has got a new bike lane, $5.2 million investments. The drainage improvements on General de Gaulle, they're going to get finished one day. $20 million investment that is being poured into that as well. And of course, we continue to work on expanded retail. And we have a lot of other ongoing projects on the West Bank, but there's nothing that really symbolizes the resurrection and redemption and the resurgence of the West Bank like a center like this has for the community to all come and to enjoy the best that the world has to offer. So I thank you all for everything that you have done. I thank you for your investment. But just, again, remember, success happens when all of us come together, when we find common ground, when we have good leadership, good vision, good execution, good partnership, we have good results. And this is what winning looks like. So God bless you all. Thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Algiers, we're out of the trailer. We should all be very thankful. I was thinking back this morning to when we were out here doing the groundbreaking, and I was thinking what my comments were at that point. And I remember talking about how hard it is to build. My background, as a lot of us know, is in construction. And so I knew the journey that was ahead of us. And I also knew the journey that it took to get us to that point. And I think I want to hearken that, and that's why I want to really talk and thank this mayor and this administration and this city council. Because, you know, often we hear, well, this was on the books already. And we hear that repeatedly now, that all these projects where we're going out and we're cutting ribbons, well, these were already on the books. We were already envisioning this. We're already planning it. Well, folks, it's easy to envision and to plan at times. It's very difficult to implement. It's very difficult to actually build something, and build something in a sustainable, well thought out manner. And I would just like to say, as this administration and this council, we're the closers, and we're going to keep closing and opening buildings as much as we can, and only because, as the mayor said, this is a teamwork. And we're going to take all these wonderful, good thoughts, and when implementation and actually building them, that's our gift to everybody, and we can only do it with everyone in partnership together. And when we talk about the bike path that's right outside, we're talking about the connection and the connectivity of our community, and allowing children and elderly and disabled folks to get to the library in a manner that's sustainable. And that's really what we're talking about. So we're going to look at, you know, I was looking up this beautiful piece of art, and they talked about, what was it called, Mr. Mayor? Random thoughts, right. And so I see, they kind of look like random thoughts, like neurons and connectors. And that's how we make our thoughts, right? And that's kind of how we're trying to build this library, as connectors with our young, which we hear in the background, our old, and everybody, and it shows that we have value. And so this is a reflection of the value that we place on our children and on our community, and that we are worth it. And Algiers, we are absolutely worth it. We were affected by the storm. We have waited almost 7 years for this. And it's this administration and this council that will continue to deliver until our community is whole. So thank you.
Good morning, Algiers. And thank you all for being here. Look at this crowd. What does this tell you about why Algiers is so important and why this 5th library was so critical? No one realized, because we had no water, that we also had no library. No one realized the wind damage that we experienced sitting between Belchase and St. Bernard. No one realized that we lost a lot too. Even the insurance companies and FEMA didn't realize it. But thanks to people like Joe Fred, thanks to people like Mayor Landrieu, thanks to the last council who did allow me to put Algiers on the list of the legislation that I did of 5 libraries by design build, so we could do 5 at one time. At first everyone said, why Algiers? I said, we also lost a library. We lost 2 libraries. We lost both our libraries. One's 100 years old. And they said, but there's not going to be the money. And there wasn't. There wasn't the replacement money because it wasn't rising water. And there wasn't the hope and the dreams that we could all envision like the other 4. Fortunately, we weren't that devastated, but our library was. But I knew that if we put it on the list, it would work because it was Algiers. I also knew that we would get the support of the council and the mayor to come. I also knew that people like Joe Fred of FEMA and our state partners with Stacy. I knew then that when the Landrieu administration came aboard, he would connect the dots and he would make it work. And I also knew that when Kristen Palmer and I would be at this helm together, we'd make it a dream that was one of a kind, and it is. And so thank you, Algiers, because you gave me that vision and you gave me that support. And my help did come, but Joe, you were there from the beginning. And he believed that we had to make this library come true also, because it was as devastated, but it wasn't by water. It was by wind, which is a good lesson for us to learn. But most importantly, to all of you, the library board, Helen, you've been, and Marge, Sharon, y'all have been mainstays forever, and Lee Reed and Urban Mayfield, all of you that have been there with us on these libraries for such a long time. Thank you and God bless you. You believed in us too. You didn't say why Algiers. You said, of course Algiers. That is the 5th library, and we must have it. And when I walked in here this morning and saw the whole crowd, and walked to the back and saw the stuffed animals and the children's books, I grew up at the Hubble Library. My children grew up at this library. I was in tears. We are worth it. We are one of the most, if not the most valuable part of the city. I'm supposed to be at large, and the mayor always talks about me wanting to get everything for Algiers. But it's true. Algiers comes together, like the mayor said is so important. Algiers never gives up on the vision that is ours as a major part of this city. Thank you, and God bless you, and happy library.
Good morning, I'm Charles Brown, City Librarian. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the new Algiers Regional Library. As the mayor, As the mayor mentioned, this is the 5th library that's been opened since March. It's also the largest of the new branches, second in size only to the main library downtown. And given the crowd that's here today, I'm glad it could be even larger, I suppose. I'd like to thank the mayor and members of the city council for their incredible support of the public library. As the mayor pointed out, and the council members, this facility would not have been possible without the city's support, and we very much appreciate that. Now, I may be the city librarian, but I'm directed by a board of trustees. And it's a 9-member board, and we have a number of the board members here today that I'd like to introduce. Lee Reed, who's the chair of the library board. Susan Guillory, who's the vice chair of the library board. Christine Guillory. Susan Larson, member of the library board. Dr. Ardell Cozy, who not only is a member of the library board, but also an Algiers resident. And last but certainly not least, Helen Coleman, a 30-year member of the library. The library is also very fortunate to have the support of a very active foundation, which is led by a foundation board, and Urban Mayfield, is the president of the foundation board. And the foundation board not only solicits major gifts for the library, but also provides a number of special programs and services that the library could not provide through its ongoing budget. One of those is a treat that you'll enjoy later today, and those are the refreshments that you'll have following this program. And the foundation has also been responsible for the programs that will take place both today and also on Saturday. We also have another support group for the library system, and that's the Friends of the Library. And Scott Cunningham, the president of the Friends, is here with us today. And you too can become a member of the Friends. There's a table in the lobby, and we certainly would welcome your membership of the Friends. It's a very worthwhile organization, and they provide the summer programming that's held throughout the system. So it really, your support of the Friends really does go toward a very good cause. Mary Ann Marks has been recognized by the mayor, but I'd also like to recognize her and her staff again for the incredible job that they've done. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank you, the Algiers community. Not only have you turned out today in what appears to be a record number for one of our openings, but also over 60 of you volunteered over the past 2.5 weeks to help get the library together. So the Algerians have come together not only to make this facility possible in terms of the political process, but also come together to pull it all together for the opening today. So I thank you for your support. As has been stated earlier, this is a wonderful, I think, addition to the Algiers community, and I hope you come here often and enjoy it very much. So thank you again for being with us today, and enjoy your new Algiers Regional Library. Thank you. And next, we'll have remarks from Irvin Mayfield, the president of the Library Foundation.
Thank you guys for having us here today. This is a special day. I remember being here a few years ago as chairman of the library board and remembering a very contentious conversation where we had to ask the folks here in Algiers to be really patient. And I think that patience has truly paid off. We have built something that is a lot better. There's a real resource here in Algiers, and I would like to commend the New Orleans Public Library staff for all of the hard work that they continue to do on a daily basis. They're the best staff in the world, so how about a round of applause for New Orleans Public Library staff? And they also have the best looking logo and t-shirts that I've ever seen before, so you guys get those. I have the opportunity today to talk really quickly about folks who don't get recognized often. And let me say that the first line of defense to support your city and the place where you are, the neighborhood you live in, the street you live on, is to be in public office. I think our mayor and our representatives here from the city council are representatives of that first line of defense. But the quick second line of defense is folks who volunteer on our boards, on our foundations. They become members of organizations. And being on a library board typically is not very much that sexy about that. You join a library board because you love literature and you love reading and you love kids, you love being with folks. And I like to take a moment to recognize a lot of the folks for scores and scores of years who have been on boards and no one's ever really recognized them. We took the time to say thank you for all the stuff that you've done. But let me say that great political leadership can't be recognized and can't be realized without all those volunteers that make it happen on a daily basis. So how about a round of applause for all of the folks that have ever served on any board, any convention, any foundation. And so out of those folks, there are those who do more than most. And there are two in the history of the New Orleans Public Library that must be recognized for that. The first could not be here today because she is not feeling well, but she's a staple here in this community, and that is the great Ruth McCusker. Ruth has got a stern, hardcore demeanor, and if you ever disagree with her in a meeting, you will know what I mean when I say that. At the same time, she never tells you no. She's always available. Not long ago, I was at Ruth's house, just giving her a bunch of different scenarios and challenges. And she always takes the time to say, this is what I think you should do. And she also doesn't mind taking the time to tell me that something is absolutely stupid and we shouldn't do it. She's been a tremendous mentor for not just me, but years and years of serving on the Public Library Board, the Public Library Foundation. And only until recently, about a year and a half ago, did she retire from her work of volunteering at the New Orleans Public Library, but she's always with us on a daily basis. The second person I must name is forever known as Mrs. Chairman, the great Helen Coleman. I'm 34 years old, soon to be 35, and Helen has been serving on the library board for over 30 years. So she's very difficult to disagree with anything in a library board meeting. She has a tremendous memory and knows how everything got started, but most importantly, the best thing she does is she always inspires new leaders. I got my first opportunity to be a chairman of a board, of a public board underneath the leadership and guidance of Helen Coleman, as many of us at the library have. I know she's given Lee Reed an earful of things he should be doing also. You probably get some more today. So we're here to recognize these two individuals, and although Ruth is not here, we have some things that we would like to offer both. We're going to offer them 3 ways of thank you for all of the work you've done. The first is something that is a little intangible, but will be given in perpetuity, and that is a scholarship from the New Orleans Public Library Foundation of $5,000 annually for a college student who is a female who volunteers and exemplifies the type of work that Ruth McCusker and Helen Coleman, the work that they've done volunteering here in New Orleans. The second, and Ms. Coleman, I think you should come up here and join our illustrious mayor, is a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I think if you've served 30 years, well, in prison that would be lifetime. I don't know if it's the same at the library board, but sometimes it feels like that. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award. I think no one is better fitted to serve this to Helen Coleman than our wonderful mayor.
Now, Irvin, I don't know how long you've been knowing Miss Helen, but I've been knowing Miss Helen for a long, long time. And I can tell you...
You were... Well,
yes, ma'am. I wasn't going to go all the way back there, but since you went back there, that's how we want to. Helen, on behalf of the people of the city of New Orleans, this is just something from the bottom of our heart for everything that you have done for the people of the city of New Orleans, and I can assure you in a completely and totally selfless way. So please accept this on behalf of the Library Foundation and the city of New Orleans.
you're sending me to Paris.
Yeah. Before we let her talk, we just got to give her one more thing. We have something that we give folks from the public library who are really special, and it's a lifetime gold public library card. And with this card, it's gold. Yeah, you don't have to pay any fees or fines. And anytime you show up here, you can just take a cash withdrawal from any public library. So get your library card and volunteer. This is what you get. So we have our chairman, Mr. Lee Reed, who's going to present you.
Right
here. Ms. Coleman, on behalf of the library board and the entire system, all of our staff, everyone, thank you so much for all of your service. We appreciate you being here today and always. Thank you very much.
How sweet it is. I mean, I've been on quite a few forums in my life. And when you get to be 80 and you were one of the first women lawyers in the city, you get appointed to everything. But nothing, as I told the staff a couple of weeks ago at a forum, nothing got me like the library. They seduce you. You see what's going on. You come to appreciate something that before was just, it was a place I went to get a book that I didn't want to buy. And where little old ladies, got to be the little old lady. I am the little old lady now. And as I was told by one politician back when, well, you know, libraries, I don't go to libraries anymore, and libraries are sort of like the icing of a cake. And I can tell the politicians here now, we're not the icing on the cake, we are the cake. There is so much that libraries do now. The activist library. And one of my rich friends uptown said, well, I mean, what's the big deal with putting in the computers? Everybody has a computer. Not. No. And we see the people, if you come downtown to the computers, you have to wait an hour, sometimes two, to get 30 minutes on the computer. We didn't have enough before we started, and Mr. Gates gave us the first 20 computers. We never have enough. But I want to take this time that I have up here with you to tell you of the importance and add my thanks to the overworked, underpaid people who work for the New Orleans Public Libraries. You see this place? This is absolutely breathtaking. I want you all to take the time, there are going to be tours after this, to go to the various rooms. You can hear the kids playing in the back room and the teen rooms. They've thought of everything, and I'm going to tell you, I agree with Jackie that perhaps we did save the best for last. This is the biggest, and it is phenomenal. So I want to say glorious things about the staff, and I want to tell the administration and the council people here today, come September, October, November, we're going to be remembered at the budget hearing. Thank you, everybody. It's wonderful.
So the new rule is if you get an award, you get to make a budget pitch. All right, Joe, come on. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, council members, senator, other distinguished guests here with us today. I'd like to also recognize some of my staff, some of my project officers and leads that worked on this project. Dale Peterson. Dale, raise your hand. Where you at, Dale? There you are. Leon Tarver, Ronnie Farley. Ronnie's involved, that guy right there is involved on most of the projects here in the city. So he just runs from project to project and we keep him working. Also, I've got two of my employees that are residents here and card carrying, library card carriers. Lily Long, Lily, raise your hand. This is her neighborhood. Lena. Here's Lena. Lena's in finance. There she is. She's a resident. She uses this library also. Sometimes I feel like I got my arms around a gorilla. And when you do that, what do? You cannot let go. They sent me down here to do the recovery for not only the city of New Orleans and Algiers, but for the whole state of Louisiana. My office right now, I've got about 1,000 personnel. Office here, the West Park facility in Algiers. And I also got the old Renaissance Mall up in Baton Rouge. I'm co-located with the state. We've got really 6 disasters we're working: Hurricane Katrina, Rita, Gustav Ike, Mississippi River flooding, Tropical Storm Lee, and they keep adding on us. But when you do that, really, I've got all 64 parishes were affected by one of those storms. We got a lot of work to do. One of my priorities right now is Orleans, Mr. Mayor. Now that you know that, we meet regularly, but like the mayor says, we're all in this together. I think I've become a good friend. I see the mayor very often, and he tells me how he feels about different things, but my job here is, I'm not a politician, My job here is to take those taxpayer dollars that come from you, roll through the federal government through Congress, Department of Homeland Security to FEMA into the Disaster Relief Fund. And that's where my funding is, to take those dollars and put them back in the community. I'm not a politician. We're here, man, to do construction. So my success is what we see today, brick and mortar. And when we cut those ribbons with the mayor and we come back and see this, I'm happy. Congratulations on this library. How many states in the United States have built 5 libraries in 5 or 6 months? How many states have built 8 brand new schools in a year? We still got a lot of work to do. We're at about 50% construction right now. We're getting ready to ramp it up. Mr. Rick, everybody's going to get a piece of it in the state. But like I said, we've got a lot planned for Orleans, and you're going to see a lot more construction going on. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning. I guess we're getting on to good afternoon. It's quite an act to follow. It's great to be here at the Algiers Regional Library and celebrating this ribbon cutting. This is, as you said, the 5th one. I participated in 3 with the mayor. I joke and call it my trifecta, but I'm not really sure what to call the next one because I think we have one more coming up. I'm a representative of the State Office of Community Development, Stacey Bonifant, with the Disaster Recovery Unit. And on behalf of the governor and the state office, we're proud to be a partner in this great coordination and partnership that has come together to develop this and so many of the libraries with the city, with our local leaders, with FEMA, with the Library Foundation, and of course with the active community. And the members that see this project through to reality. The ribbon cuttings are fantastic because much more than a groundbreaking, it's a way to see that what you've done and the efforts you've made have come to fruition. It's a realization of what has been accomplished. And what that is, it contains so much, so many important components of vision, of coordination, of persistence, of course from our side of funding, and also of hard work. So I applaud all of your efforts for this beautiful building. But as we know, a library is so much more than the structure itself. And the design of this library, as so many have commented on, it just supports a sense of community. And it's a place of comfort for so many people. It's a place of learning, a place of quiet time, a place of socializing, expanding your visions, and exploring new worlds. I shared my personal experience in the opening of the library in New Orleans East, and I felt that very much in my heart, and I know that you all get that same feeling as you see your library just continue to grow and develop. An important mantra of the Louisiana Recovery Authority and our Office of Community Development has been to build safer, smarter, and stronger. And I think that is truly embodied here with elevation and hardened structures and state-of-the-art technology, these expanded spaces and all the additional services. I think this is truly safer, smarter, and stronger. And how great for the West Bank, for Algiers. This is such an advanced center, and everybody has commented on it with teen and children's spaces and wireless internet and so many of the aspects of modern libraries. So I applaud you at that. As a large part of the funding a large part of this funding comes from community development block grants, which is funding through the Housing and Urban Development Department in the U.S. government. I wanted to just comment on where the funding came from. They have been great partners with us in making sure they realize what we have been impacted with here in Louisiana and how they can be a help in this. And to close, I like to use a quote that seems to become more real as we do these library openings. As I heard while reading at some point, that libraries aren't built, they grow. And I can see we've started this, we have the building, it's built, but this is only the beginning of what will grow. And so I know this community will just continue to see this and to realize what this can become. So I applaud you all and congratulate you on this day. Thank you.
Again, thank you all so very much. I'm calling Pastor John Yule up for the final prayer. But, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about a lot of folks that say what we need to do. not a whole lot of folks talking about how to do it, and there are fewer folks that actually get it done. And we have a group of people, when all of us finish conceptualizing and understanding and directing, people actually make it happen. I know that you see lots of stuff happen in the city. Our Department of Infrastructure that's run by Deputy Mayor Grant and Vince Carter, all those playgrounds that have opened, these libraries that open, these are the guys that actually get the work done and make it happen. So you guys, thank you very much for all of the work that you have done. I think to put an explanation point on urban volunteers, you guys are awesome. You make this thing work really, really well. But again, this is what success looks like. This is what it looks like when the federal, state, and local government, when all of the different organizations in the neighborhoods and the foundations and the volunteers and the boards work together to come up with a beautiful vision. We can be whatever it is that we want to be if we dare to be great. That's what this looks like, and there's no better symbol than this library. So God bless you all. Thank you.